Hello, this is Brother Cromar from the Math Department at BYU, Idaho. And this is a supplement of Lesson 17 videos, which is dealing with the commands that you need for SPSS to help you to complete Lesson 17. And so what I'll do is first of all cover how to deal with weight cases. And then the next slide we'll be talking about is pie charts, followed by bar charts, and then Pareto charts. So first of all, let's talk about weight cases. Now sometimes you need weight cases and sometimes you don't, okay? Now the data set that, one of the data sets that was linked to on the online textbook was called the no-click query. Now first of all, let me go to this data set here. Each line represents a subject, or meaning a person or a subject that took part in the survey. And then so for instance, subject 1 had a reason irrelevant result, subject 2 looked for website, and so on and so forth. So each row in SPSS represents a person or a unit or a subject. Now there's another type of data, so similar data, but this is where you might be dealing with what is called summary data. If you notice here on the top left, there's the name no-click query dash summary. This represents a summary data set. And so what this data set does is that it within each of these different categories, it counts the number of people that fall in that category. So the difference between, so notice here that this first one has a lot more information, but each row represents a subject, and this one has the same information, but it's collapsed, where each line or each row represents a group of people or a certain category. Now you only have to worry about weight cases with this type of data here, with the summary data. You do not have to worry about weight cases with raw, which is called raw data, where each row represents a person. So if you, and a clue in is if you ever see a variable like count or frequency, that's a clue in that perhaps that you should be using weight cases. So what I'm going to do is for this data, I'm going to do data weight cases, and then I weight cases by that count variable or whatever it's called, count frequency or whatever. We do that so that we can, whatever items we do afterwards, that we can get good results. Okay, if we don't do this, then our results will be garbage. So if I'm going to click on OK, and then we're ready to go with whatever we want to. Now we can either use this data set here now or this data set with pie charts, bar graphs, or Pareto charts. It'll be the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick to this data set here, and I'm just going to go forward with this. So the next item is I'm going to deal with is pie charts. So what I'll do is I'm going to go to Graphs, Legacy Dialog, Pie Charts, okay, click on Define, and so what I'm going to do is I want to put in the categories here for defined slices. Now what I did was I put in this, if you look on the top left, the variable name, the title is reason, so I'm going to put in reason, define slices by reason, okay. So when I click on OK, I'm going to look at this output, and then here's a pie chart. Okay, now what you can also do if you want to, you can double click on the pie chart, click on elements and show data labels, and then you can get the percentages. And if you go over here to the right side where it says properties, if you take the count variable or count right here under not displayed count and then click on the up arrow, then you can put the count, you can also include counts as well as percentages, and there you go. Okay, so that's an example of what you can do for a pie chart. Now let's go to the next one, which is a bar chart. Okay, so now what we're going to do is let's go back to our SPSS data, the summary data, and I'm going to go to Graphs, Legacy Dialog, Bar Chart, and I'm going to do Simple, Define, and then I'm going to do the same thing, the category axis, instead of define slices by its category axis, which is our horizontal axis, I'm going to put in reason again. Okay, and so when I click on OK, I'm going to get, here's my bar graph, okay, or my bar chart. So if I double click within the chart, I'm going to get a chart editor, and then if I do elements again and show data labels, then I'm going to get these counts. And then if you go to the properties on the right side, what I'll do is I'll click on percent under not displayed, and then I'll click this arrow, this green arrow, and move percent up here, and then click on apply, and then you also get percents as well too. Okay, so that's an example of a bar chart or a bar graph. Now the last item that we will cover is a Pareto chart. So a Pareto chart is basically the same commands as a bar chart, but now we have to do some extra steps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this, I'm going to do Graphs, Legacy Dialog, and I'm going to do bar chart, and then I'll click on Define. I'll just run this again where I'm going to put the reason in my for the category axis. Click on OK, and then you will see the same thing again. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on within the chart editor. I'm going to double click within any one of these bars. I'll double click on it. Okay, and then if you notice on the right side here it says categories is marked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down below where it says sort by, and I'm going to sort by statistic, and then direction. The direction is going to be descending, and if I click on apply, then if you notice here the bars are sorted in descending order. And if I just do show data labels, put in the percent up here like I did with the bar chart, it'll give me both the percentages and the counts. And that is all the graphs that you need to be able to complete your assignments for lesson 17 when you need to use SPSS.